Have you ever found yourself wondering what the absolute weirdest thing you could eat is? Picture this. You're walking through a chaotic, vibrant street market, the air thick with the scents of sizzling meats, spices, and foods you can't even begin to recognize. You're surrounded by colorful stalls, each offering something different, and then, bam! You're handed a plate of something so strange, so out of the ordinary, that you have to do a double take. Would you be bold enough to take a bite, or would you turn and run? Well, today we're going on a wild ride through the world's strangest street foods. From snacks that crawl, to dishes that might just make your nose twitch, these bizarre delicacies are beloved by locals around the world. Some of them might make you cringe, others might intrigue you, but who knows, by the end of this, you might find yourself thinking, hey, I'd actually try that. So, let's jump into this fun, bizarre culinary adventure together as we explore 8 weird street foods that people from all corners of the globe absolutely swear by. Ready? Let's go! Let's start with a Filipino delicacy that will test even the most adventurous eaters, balut. Now, balut isn't your typical boiled egg. It's a fertilized duck egg that's been incubated for about 14 to 21 days, meaning that inside, you've got a partially developed duck embryo. Yes, you're eating a baby duck along with the yolk. Locals crack it open, sprinkle it with salt, and sometimes add a dash of vinegar or chili sauce before slurping it down straight from the shell. If you're brave enough to take a closer look, you'll see feathers, bones, and even the beak. But despite its appearance, balut is a beloved street food in the Philippines, often sold by vendors shouting, "Balut," in the evenings. It's considered a nutritious snack, packed with protein and flavor. The taste? Surprisingly savory and rich, like a cross between a soft-boiled egg and chicken soup, with a hint of gaminess. For Filipinos, it's comfort food, but for tourists, it's a rite of passage. So, are you ready to slurp down a duck embryo? Next, we're taking a trip to Cambodia, where crispy fried tarantulas are not just a novelty, but a popular snack. These 8-legged creatures, known as aping, locally, are marinated in sugar, salt, and garlic before being deep-fried to golden perfection. Tarantulas were originally eaten out of necessity during times of famine, but they've since become a beloved street food, especially in the town of Skuon, also known as Spiderville. When you take a bite, the legs are crunchy, but the body, well, that's where things get interesting. The body is soft and juicy, filled with a combination of meat, eggs, and yes, some internal organs. People often compare the flavor to that of soft-shell crab or prawns, with an earthy aftertaste. And if you're brave enough to pop the whole thing into your mouth, you'll be able to say you've eaten one of the world's most intimidating snacks. Could you conquer your arachnophobia for a taste of this crispy critter? Now, brace yourself for one of the smelliest street foods in the world, stinky tofu, or cho dufu, as it's known in Taiwan. The name alone might send people running in the opposite direction, and let me tell you, the smell is no joke. Stinky tofu is fermented for days, weeks, or even months in a brine made of milk, vegetables, and meat, giving it an aroma that can only be described as something between rotten garbage and aged blue cheese. But don't let the pungent smell fool you. Once you get past that, you'll discover why it's such a beloved snack in Taiwan's night markets. It's typically deep-fried and served with a side of pickled cabbage and spicy sauce. The outside is crispy, while the inside remains soft and creamy, with a flavor that's surprisingly mild compared to the scent. Some say the experience of eating stinky tofu is like biting into a rich, savory custard. Despite its off-putting odor, stinky tofu has legions of devoted fans, and if you can stomach the smell, you might just become one of them. Would you take the plunge and give this fragrant snack a try? Let's head to the far north, where Icelandic locals have been preserving and eating one of the strangest dishes you'll ever encounter, hakaral, or fermented shark. This dish is made from Greenland shark, which is toxic when fresh due to high levels of urea and trimethylamine oxide. To make it edible, the shark meat is buried underground for several months to ferment, then hung out to dry for a few more months. The result? A strong-smelling, ammonia-rich delicacy that's not for the faint of heart. Hakaral is usually eaten in small cubes, often accompanied by a shot of Brennivin, a potent Icelandic schnapps, to wash it down. The flavor? Imagine biting into something that tastes like a mix of rotten fish and strong cheese, with a pungent, ammonia-like aroma that sticks with you long after your first bite. Locals, however, love it and consider it a traditional part of their cuisine. So, if you ever find yourself in Iceland, would you dare to taste this ancient Viking dish? If you think that's wild, just wait. What's coming next is even crazier. We're about to explore foods that are so strange, they'll make you question everything you thought about street food. From dishes that jump off the plate to ones that have been fermenting for months, you won't believe what people actually eat. Trust me, the weirdness is only just beginning. And now we're getting into seriously bizarre territory with casu marzu, also known as maggot cheese, from Sardinia, Italy. This infamous cheese takes fermentation to a whole new level by deliberately introducing live insect larvae into the cheese. That's right, casu marzu is infested with maggots that break down the fats, making the cheese incredibly soft and creamy. And yes, the maggots are still alive when you eat it. Locals swear by the cheese's sharp, intense flavor, and they believe the presence of live maggots enhances the taste. When you eat it, the larvae can jump, so diners often cover their faces to avoid an unexpected maggot in the eye. While casu marzu is technically illegal in some places due to health concerns, it's still widely available on the black market in Sardinia, where it's considered a delicacy. The cheese is spicy, tangy, and creamy, but the mental hurdle of eating something that's crawling with bugs makes it a tough sell for many. Would you dare try this squirming cheese to experience a slice of Sardinian tradition? We're moving on to South Korea for a dish that might literally fight back: sanachi, or live octopus. This dish consists of freshly cut pieces of octopus, which continue to wriggle and squirm on the plate. It's seasoned with sesame oil and sesame seeds, but the real star of the show is the octopus itself. The tentacles, still alive, stick to your chopsticks, your mouth, and anything else they can grab onto. It's an exciting and slightly nerve-wracking experience for anyone trying it for the first time. Sanachi is all about the texture, with a chewy bite that's unlike anything else you've ever tasted. The trick is to chew thoroughly before swallowing, because those little suction cups can still cling to your throat if you're not careful. It's a delicacy in South Korea, often served in seafood markets and restaurants, and it's as much about the experience as it is the flavor. Could you handle this slippery, wriggling snack? Next, we're heading to Mexico for a dish that might surprise you: escamoles, also known as ant larvae. Considered a delicacy in Mexico, escamoles are harvested from the roots of agave plants and have been eaten since the time of the Aztecs. Known as insect caviar, these larvae are often sautéed with butter, garlic, and spices, giving them a rich, nutty flavor. Escamoles are usually served with tortillas or in tacos, and they have a texture similar to cottage cheese or small beans. The taste is buttery and slightly crunchy, with a delicate earthiness that complements traditional Mexican flavors. It's a unique dish that's surprisingly subtle, despite the fact that you're eating larvae. So, would you be up for trying these little critters the next time you're in Mexico? For the final stop on our bizarre food journey, let's head to Japan, where you can find something truly eye-catching: tuna eyeballs. Yes, you read that right. Tuna eyeballs are a popular snack in Japanese fish markets and grocery stores, especially in places like Shizuoka. These large, gelatinous eyes are often sold for just a few yen, making them an affordable delicacy for those curious enough to try them. You might be wondering, what does a tuna eyeball taste like? Surprisingly, the texture is quite similar to octopus or squid, chewy, with a slight gelatinous quality. The flavor is mild, and the surrounding fat around the eyeball is said to be the tastiest part, rich and buttery. It's a nutritional powerhouse, packed with omega-3 fatty acids, but let's be honest, it's not just about health, it's about experiencing something totally out of the ordinary. So, would you take the plunge and give tuna eyeballs a try, or is this one too far out of your comfort zone? And there you have it, 8 of the weirdest, wildest, most bizarre street foods from around the globe. Seriously, can you even imagine biting into a wriggling octopus or chowing down on maggot-filled cheese? So, what do you think? Which of these crazy foods would you actually be brave enough to try? Or maybe you're thinking, no way, I'm sticking to pizza. Either way, I want to know. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, If you enjoyed this weird food journey as much as I did, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on more outrageous food adventures. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. We've got some seriously epic stuff on the way.